Another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today we're going to talk about one of the lesser known advantages of listing. I guess it's known by people, but I don't think enough of the other people who do reselling channels talk about it. And it's how much your sales get helped by listing, but by listing similar type items. And I know that you've talked about it and I've talked about it. And I'll give a perfect example. You've got a ton of phones listed right now, correct?
Yes.
And if you went 3-4 weeks, you have 100 phones listed, let's just say.
Okay.
And they're all in the store. And you're going to sell 4 or 5, whatever, 3, 4, 5, whatever, in a week.
Yep.
But you don't list any. What happens over time if you're not listing new ones?
Yeah, you sell less and less of them.
Yeah, so you're selling 3 this week, 2 the week after, nothing for 2 weeks.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden you get a collection in of 100 more phones. And you list those 100 phones. Now, obviously, you're selling some of the new things that you're listing.
Yep.
But what happens to the old things that you had?
They start selling as well. Yep.
And I don't think enough people out there point this out because it happens all the time.
Sure, yeah.
Like listings sell like listings. And we talk about it all the time in our Bolo videos, as a matter of fact. And the one that comes to mind was I had listed a magazine with an American flag cover.
Right.
And right when it got listed, 2 hours later, I got an offer on a comic book I had listed with an American flag cover, and both said American flag cover in the listings.
Yeah.
Now, could that be a coincidence? It could.
Possibly, sure.
But it happens far too often. And I'm sure you have a couple of examples, too, of just different things that just kind of, when you list one, it pushes other ones.
Yeah, we bought that Don Mattingly collection, and guess what? All my old Mattingly
old stuff.
Things were selling cards and figures and stuff like that. Yeah, crazy.
Now let me ask you a question about that. How far out does the sales go? In other words, obviously the Don Mattingly stuff sells.
Yeah.
Does it also help you sell non-Don Mattingly but Yankees branded stuff?
I would say it can't hurt. I haven't noticed it, but I'm sure there's some things that sold just because Yankees was in the title, and maybe we sold a Mickey Mantle item or a Mantle Mattingly item together or something if they did a tribute or some rendition, artist rendition.
So basically, logically, you're listing, and how many Don Mattingly items did you list roughly?
Oh, geez, 300.
Okay, so you put 300 of those up. That then helped you sell New York Yankee items.
Yep.
Helped you sell other Don Mattingly items. Probably helped you sell other sports cards.
Yeah, I would think so. Sure.
And let's say that you had a couple of Don Mattingly starting lineups in there. It may have helped sell a different starting lineup and brought traffic to that as well.
Someone stumbled across Mattingly and they're an Aaron Judge fan and he's hot. He's also got Aaron Judge cards for sale. Boom. I'll buy a couple of those too. Package them together, saving shipping. Sure.
Now let me ask you another question because I don't know how you handled this. Did you create a special store category for Don Mattingly, or were they?
We did.
You did.
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering about that because sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. If you have a big enough collection, or if you're going to get that kind of thing regularly, it's definitely worth listing a special store category for.
Yeah, anything under $50, Mattingly goes in the Mattingly store. Anything above and beyond that goes into a special store category that we don't put on sale, so we got to keep it separate. In case we had a $1,000 card, we don't want to sell it for $800 or $700 and then take an offer. So, but for the most part, 90% of them go into the Mattingly category. I'm
going to ask you another question here. This is going to kind of go off of our regular or what we're talking about over here. But you 3 months from now, just pick up a random Don Mattingly card that's worthwhile, a top finest refractor or something like that. Where does it get listed at in the store category?
If it's over $50, it's going to go into the special category.
Right. Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just I don't know the value of it. Say it's $30.
Okay, then there's it'll say Don Mattingly collection.
Does I guess what I'm asking is, do the listers know that exists, and would they know to list there? Okay.
I will tell them in advance, hey, made this category for Don Mattingly, make sure you put them in there. You
now,
can double list them if you want to put them in sports cards.
Okay, that was what I was asking you, because I was wondering what if you picked up a lot of, and again, I don't know the value of them, but pretend they're all under $50.
Yeah.
You picked up 20 Topps Finest refractors. Would they list the Mattingly ones separately, or would they not do that and just list them all in the sports cards?
Good question. I would double list it into sports cards.
You would want them
Mattingly,
to? Okay,
sure.
Yeah. Yep.
But I prefer Mattingly first, and then baseball sports cards second.
Yeah, so that's another way that it really helps you as well, listing. Sorry for that little, I was just kind of wanted to see how he ended up doing it. Because I'm a one-man band, and I have a lot more, well, I have complete control over where stuff gets listed, and I know all my categories, and I wasn't certain if all of your employees knew what categories there were all the time.
Lately, we've been picking up all kinds of collections, specifically like the Disney Snow Globe, Don Mattingly, Piazza, so let them know in advance so they can take advantage of it, sure.
Yep, and the nice thing about that is it not only sells things off the SEO, in my case, flag cover, in his case, Don Mattingly, those sell. It also sells things within the store categories that you have them in. And I've been promising this for almost 3 years now. But one of these days, we're going to do a good video about store categories, because I do think that those are one of the most important things you possibly can have, is setting up good store categories and using them regularly. But this is one of the main reasons why, because you do a lot of cross-selling of stuff if you have store categories set up properly. But I know that a lot of times, too, you are in a different position than I am, because you're paying people to list. You almost, well, you don't almost have to. You have to pay people to be efficient.
Yes.
I can be inefficient. Not that I try to be, but here's my thought. I can list 3 People magazines, and that'll drive People magazine sales. I can list 3... not that I have any, but I could list 3 postcards, and it'll drive postcard sales. 3 Hardy Boy books, that'll drive Hardy Boy book sales. So I can list 12 items, or 12 items across 4 different categories, and drive sales. You really can't afford, unless they're high-priced items, to be having a lister. If you pick up 40 of 4 different items, have them list 5, 5, 5, 5. Right. You have to have them list all 40. The next day, list all 40.
Sure. Yeah.
So that is a disadvantage that you have versus me, because every couple of days I can list across and drive sales across. You can't really do that, but you kind of do the whole big cannonball.
Yeah,
and get lots of the same item listed in there. So there are a couple of different ways to do it, but either way it does drive traffic. I prefer the dribs and the drabs way to do it, to drive traffic, a little today, a little tomorrow, a little the day after. Mr. Magazine, just because of the way he's set up, he's actually paying somebody to do it, he has to kind of cannonball and just drive everything all at once, and then the next day cannonball another category and drive everything all at once. So hopefully that does help you some, but definitely when you are listing, think about what you already have listed, because a lot of times you can drive sales based off of what you're listing right now on older items and move older items on out. So sometimes, at least as a one-man band, I find that being inefficient sometimes does help, only because it will spur other sales as well. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.